High on the list. Okay, it's Monday, and we're back. And I mean, really, we're back. Because I don't think you've ever started a show on screen.
I don't think I have either.
This is a first. It's history in the making. And here we'll press the go live button where the folks on Instagram will be able to look at our buddy, literally, buddy. That's the view on Instagram. You're looking at Buddy and a helmet from the London City Police, or City of London Police. Yeah, you know, you could be the talking head. We could always move to the center. That wouldn't be weird at all. Good morning, everybody. It is the 8th of January, 2024. Very excited. Still the new year. I haven't really gotten over the fact that that it's 2024. I haven't made an error writing the date yet. Have you written 2023?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Hopefully never.
I do see an awful lot of people have returned to work this morning, though. It was busier on the roads this morning, busier on the train this morning, and I have a feeling there's going to be an awful lot of people writing the date for the first time, and it's going to happen a lot today.
Today's the day for people to mess up. That's okay. Everyone messes up sometimes. I don't know why this year I've had luck, so it may change. I might have to write 2023, just get it out of my system. If you're watching, you might be on one of the following broadcast channels, because we are on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and, of course, the platform formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, and currently, well, I guess we should test it to make sure, but it has been working where if you're watching on Twitter, aka X, you can actually be involved and ask questions live and get into restreams. So if you're watching, where you couldn't do it before, you can apparently now do it. Just saying. We got some hellos to deal with. We got Akela Draconis, who is here and back with greetings and salutations. I like I got to say, I do like the greetings and salutations. I haven't used it in a meeting environment yet, but I say it enough that I feel like it's kind of my own.
Yeah.
We've got, what do we hear here? We do in-office meeting. Okay, maybe watching. He's got a dad joke. We'll flag that for later. Quote of the day. We got that for later. Oh, he has a video he uses for fire safety. Talks about laptop fires from the FAA. Try and share it in the Telegram. Please do. So funny, we've been talking about fire and what is it called? A thermal runaway and. Yep. Fire safety in general, because, of course, on Friday we aired an episode which we recorded with Deputy Fire Chief Larry Coco last week, but we recorded it just before the TTC fire. Some people think we planned that. We didn't. Had nothing to do with it.
You know, Sean was sneaking out and planting a bike.
I just left it there, charging. But it is interesting. So fire safety is something we don't usually talk about on traffic services channels, but it's so important because it now relates to traffic. It relates to vehicles and things that we all use while getting around the city.
You know what? Not only kick scooters and e-bikes, but vehicles as well. Teslas or any hybrid vehicle with a battery in it.
Has potential.
Yep.
And there's a lot of work that goes into dealing with those, because I think the deputy chief was talking about 300 gallons of water to put out an average vehicle fire, but it's like 30,000 gallons to deal with an electric vehicle fire. That's an order of magnitude difference. And it's the fires with the electric bikes and scooters that are interesting. And it's usually people who are modifying them or using stuff that isn't ULC listed, like that hasn't been safety protocol examined, stuff that's coming from cheap sites overseas.
And who doesn't want to get more range, charge faster, go faster than what it was designed to do? So if you modify it, what's the problem? It can only, burn down your house.
Oh yeah, only.
Yeah.
There was a situation where 4 people died in an apartment building fire in New York City because of electric bicycles. So it's real risks. So a reminder: if you don't have fire alarms, smoke alarms, those things are real good to check and make sure they're working. They're by law required, 1 on every floor. New houses, apparently, you need them 1 in every room. I didn't know that.
Oh wow!
So I've got to buy some extra ones. You're covered by 1 in each floor. But I want more notice. I want more safety, so I'm buying more.
And 1 in your garage.
Really? Carbon monoxide?
I'm going to just suggest 1 in your garage as well.
Well, considering.
Because of what's happening with the...
I wonder if you can get them all linked. So if you trigger 1, the speaker goes off in the house.
You can.
Oh, then that's the good money.
Till the power goes out.
We need them running on backup batteries.
Backup batteries
that don't go into runaway. Apparently they have 10-year batteries now. Like I used to put a 9-volt battery in and change it like twice a year or once a year, but 10-year batteries, that's wild. And that's the whole discussion, is that batteries last longer and have better range and a lot of power being packed into a small package, and that's part of the issue. But anyway,
Wouldn't it be ironic if the lithium-ion battery in your smoke detector?
sets your house on fire.
Yeah.
That would be not good.
No.
Not good at all. Let's see what we got here. We have January 8th. There we go. Today's Vision Zero enforcement team is on Twitter. It was on all the platforms. But Vision Zero enforcement team, we know what that is. If you've been watching the show before this very second, is this in your first moment watching the broadcast, you'd know that it's a dedicated group of officers who are out there to change driver behavior one ticket at a time. They are focused on the big four, which is, of course, speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. They're out there because we know that those particular driver choices, because it's not happening by oopsie-doo, it's happening because you're engaging in speeding, aggressive driving, and distracted driving. And impaired. We know that that's leading to serious injury and death on our roads, and we want to stop it. So we do that by way of engaging in enforcement, education through enforcement. We do the education by web, and they do the education in person through enforcement.
Right.
I like it. I think it's a good thing. 23 Division and 53 Division today is where they're focusing their efforts. Rexdale, Jamestown, Martin Grove, Lawrence Park, Yonge and Eglinton, Rosedale, Leaside. Those are neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. Now, those aren't the only places they'll be. It's where they're focusing their efforts. So anywhere in the city, you may have the opportunity to meet an officer who will give you their autograph.
And it doesn't have to be the Vision Zero enforcement team. It could
True.
be any officer.
Yeah. So people get upset when police cars get passed by a car speeding and they don't immediately jump into action and pull them over for speeding, or they see someone with headlights that are too bright or don't see. Like, just because a police officer's there doesn't mean they're engaged in enforcement. They may have a prisoner on board. They may be on the way to deal with a break and enter. They have other things that they're doing. They may want to deal with everything they see, but they may not have the opportunity. Then there's traffic officers who are absolutely looking for you and will find you because they're switched on looking for that particular thing.
Yep.
So, I understand that the comments all the time, oh, we see lots of speeders everywhere. Why aren't the police doing with their job? Well, they're doing their job. It just may not be the job that you want them done. And just because you see an offense, the assumption is that it never gets dealt with because you've never seen it dealt with. It's getting dealt with maybe next block over. It's a lot of offenses out there.
We're there. We're trying.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing our best. Don't be one of the ones that we meet.
Yes, indeed. Okay. We have Brandon who says, good morning, Sean. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. And please let Sergeant Campbell know that I said good morning as well.
Thank you very much, Brendan.
There you go.
I'm not usually here at the very start, so that's probably your go-to
yes.
type. Yeah.
Tim Shallow says, good morning, Sean. Of course, he was ignoring you, but
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's see here. Shout out to what? Oh, George. What is this?
I don't know.
No, that's not okay. I'm assuming that was, yeah. I don't know if that's what that is with from Kick, but we're going to ignore it because we'll just say shout out to George.
There you go.
Okay, someone's behind you. We've got a good morning from, is it Saline? I don't want to, I give it my best, but it doesn't always work in terms of pronouncing. Dew says, Happy New Year.
Sail CNC.
Sail CNC, not Saline.
Right. So CNC is the boat.
Okay, if I focus my bifocals here, we got Dew. Happy New Year. Okay. Brandon follows to say, I often see people driving with their pets on their lap. Is there a charge for that? Also, Son says there should be a TPS Lego set. Oh,
Lego?
I would be okay with it. I just ordered a Lego set, and I think I'm going to build it on camera at home. I think it's a camera. It's a Lego camera, like a dissected, exploded SLR. I think that would be really cool.
Nice.
I saw it. It was a random purchase this morning. Okay, so
driving with pets on their lap.
There's a couple of options there, but it's bad.
Charges or the smarts around it.
Well, okay. Yes, it's an offense. It's either drive while crowded or careless driving. Either one would apply. The deal in terms of why is the bad idea and why should it be illegal? Well, you're distracted if you have Fluffy on your lap. One.
Absolutely. That's careless.
If
right in itself.
Oh, absolutely. And you just can't do everything. You're not going to take an evasive maneuver if it means crushing Fluffy. You're going to change the way you operate your vehicle because Fluffy's there. Now, what happens when you have a collision, whether it was because of Fluffy or not, is Fluffy gets smushed into you at 200 miles per hour.
Between the airbag and you.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of bad going to go on.
And you don't know what Fluffy's going to do. Fluffy could be, a nice, calm, sedate animal until Fluffy is not, or Fluffy gets scared. And a collision can do that.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
And let's say you get into a collision and Fluffy's just not, never mind on your lap, passenger seat, back seat, but not tethered or secured in a, not cage, but what's it called? Crate. Thank you. Well, that Fluffy might get out and get hurt on the highway. There's all sorts of bad. There's an appropriate way, a safe way to transport your animal on your lap or just loose in your vehicle isn't it. What does Ryan Pinn want to secure? Okay, we'll come back to Ryan Pinn's serious question. Okay, in your police career, have you ever stopped someone and he or she ran from you?
A fair lot.
Yeah. I'm not so much on foot. I've not had people get out of a car and run on me.
I have.
I'm glad I haven't because I'm not a big fan of running.
And you know what? Neither am I. I do have a story.
Okay.
I can't. Now, I worked in 32 Division, which was North Toronto, and I worked there for a little while. There's an awful lot of police officers that are out in the road at any one time. So if you run away, there's an awful lot of people that can come help trying to find you, including our specialized teams and like dogs and
we phone friends
and helicopters and things like that. Well, this person, it was a speeding ticket. I was pulling them over. They ducked into a back street, parked in a driveway, jumped out of the car, and started running. And I yelled at them and said, if I have to chase you, there's going to be trouble. And they actually thought about it, stopped, turned around, and walked back.
That was a good move.
And quite honestly, all he got was a speeding ticket. There was nothing else.
But it would have escalated into criminality.
Absolutely.
What a stupid thing for them to do. But then I guess fear got the better of them. But when you gave them the, oh, hey, how you doing? They actually came to their senses, which is shocking.
Yeah, it does happen sometimes.
It might have just because they knew you were a nice guy.
No, that couldn't have been it.
Let's see here. Going back to why do we have a two-tier legal system? I don't know from what area you're referring to as having different tiers. Do you mean, now, I'm assuming it's a complaint or a dig as opposed to an actual question about understanding municipal, provincial.
Well, that's the way I write it. So we actually have three. The federal laws that cover the entire country, the provincial laws that cover Highway Traffic Act, things like that, Liquor License Act, and the municipal laws, which cover the city. Each one has a level of minuteness, if that's a word, of
and
what
slightly
it
different
control.
rules and different. I mean, it's written differently from different places.
Yeah, absolutely. What's important here is not important somewhere else.
Every province, every state has. I mean, sticking to Canada, every province has its own traffic act, which means the rules of the road could change slightly. Yeah, equipment especially. But in Canada, we're cool in that we have one criminal code for the entire country, whereas in the States, not only do they have different traffic laws in every state, they have different criminal laws in every state. Murder is a state law as opposed to a federal. It's really hard to wrap your head around.
Yep.
But mail fraud, that's federal.
It is. It actually is.
Yes. So it's very interesting. I'm fascinated by how the differences in American versus Canadian law. So let's.
Mail fraud is federal here as well.
True, but everything's kind of federal.
No, that's actually
investigated by the RCMP, federal,
or specific police for that, and it goes to a federal court as opposed to a provincial court.
Okay, it's very cool. It's just very interesting. Good morning. Can I secure the snow on my roof with a strap in lieu of brushing it off? This is a Ryan Pinn. Could you tell?
So absolutely you can. That strap has to cover every piece of snow and hold it down.
Every granule.
Yeah.
Do our taxes pay for your? Let's see. Finish the question in a second. Do our taxes pay for your podcast equipment? Oddly enough, they do. Didn't always work that way. It started off in my own personal equipment that I brought in from home.
Yep.
But we were so successful at what we were doing, we proved a business case, and as a result, the service has actually purchased their own equipment now. Now, this is my own personal microphone, because I like the way it sounds. I have a couple of tidbits of things that are my own gear still, but the vast majority of the equipment is now police-owned equipment.
And we have to go through a purchasing process because we have to justify every penny that we spent.
Yes.
There has to be a business case. It has to be approved on multiple levels, and it has to show real benefit. And we think it does.
And not only does it have to show benefit from our perspective, but we actually went out to the public and said, what do you think of what we're doing? Give us feedback of what we're doing. And it was overwhelming support. And you may be watching this and you're on TikTok. You may be watching this on TikTok and say, we're on TikTok hanging around, but we're on a bunch of different platforms. And we also connect with real news agencies. So we talk to radio stations, television stations. We do remote interviews here. This is more than just chatting and answering questions. We do press releases here. We do a lot of stuff. And the equipment, we figured out a way to use it for all those purposes, as opposed to, holding your phone at 3 feet in front of your arm and doing it on FaceTime.
I got to tell you, I went out to a serious collision last week. It took me an hour to get out to the scene. Had to wait until the media, all the media showed up that wanted to come and do a media scrum, provide that media scrum at the scene, and then it took me another hour to drive back again. We can do that right here. I can gather all the information. We can give it to you or give it to the regular media electronically and save us money and time. We don't have to go anywhere.
I've spoken to a reporter on and said, you know what? We don't have to have you on camera. We'll do this on our system. We'll send you the video file afterwards, and they'll air the video file of them doing the interview on their telephone. We've facilitated or created a way for media to get the information they need without driving and wasting time. So this is the most cost-effective way to do what we do as media relations officers, which is what we are. Terry says, good morning. We have Sean Estabrooks who says, hey. We got Ivan who says, hi, how are you doing? These are all the folks who are making sure we're real live people and not AI.
Not bad for a Monday morning.
Not bad at all. I got to say, I would have loved to have slept for another 4 to 8 hours, but yeah, it's not a bad thing. Okay, I got a couple of things flagged, but I just want to acknowledge some folks. We've got Evandro who says, good morning, your Brazilian fan is watching again, and good morning to Sergeant from Evandro. And then we've got Chief Guy Raul who says, good morning, Sean, and the amazing person to his left. He obviously doesn't know your name.
No, obviously not.
But
doesn't know me for sure.
Yeah. What is the penalty for hit and run, but the damage to the other car was very minor?
So every person involved in a collision has to stop, has to provide their name and vehicle insurance information, and also has to ensure there are no injuries. They have an obligation to do that. If the penalty or if the damage is over $2,000, they also have an obligation to report it to the police. So what is the penalty? What's the charge? Fail to remain, fail to report. Both could be under the criminal code, could be under the Highway Traffic
Act. Excuse me.
Any more than that?
Well, the fact that they failed to remain, the actual penalties in cash and in consequences would be higher than that of simply. You may have. I zoned out a bit. Did you cover that?
I did.
Look at that. I was both coughing and reading and preparing next questions. We have Emma who says good morning, and okay, we're going to continue with. This is actually a good towing question. How does not for hire work on an ex-tow truck?
So if you are using it for your own personal use, it used to be not qualified as an actual tow truck.
Mm-hmm.
We have Toronto Police tow trucks. We only tow Toronto Police cars, and we don't charge. There's no customers. We are our own customers, and we do it. Previously, we didn't have to have licensing for that. Now with the new towing and safety, Storage Safety and Enforcement Act, because the title in it has 2 ands in it, not so much anymore. We don't have those not for hire anymore. They have to be licensed. They have to.
Everyone. Oh, there you go.
Everyone, every truck.
Times have changed as of January 1st.
Yep.
Okay. I'm flagging a bunch of stuff. Joby thinks that this is a waste of police resources or resources in general.
I was going to say, well, turn off your water tap. Save our resources.
Yes, and type less because it's using up oxygen on your end. Let's see here. Saad says, can you purchase a bike and ride it home without plates? In the States, we can do it.
Kind of bike?
I'm assuming a motorcycle, because an e-bike wouldn't require plates if it was compliant. And they're in the States, but I'm assuming motorcycle. No, you can't.
Nope. Absolutely not. You can't have a vehicle on the road that is not licensed or insured. or fall within one of the exemptions. We can offer you or the ministry can offer you a temporary permit that doesn't require a safety certification, just to travel it for 10 days from where you purchase it from to your home or to the garage to get a safety certification done on it.
We got a cough. I've developed a cough today.
I see that.
You guys are doing great. Thank you for your service. Silverback, thank you very much. Other people like Joby don't agree, but they do identify as barnyard animals. They said so right there.
What's that?
They've I've said they spelt out that they identify as that.
Oh.
I won't give them the benefit. Do school bus drivers have different rules to follow than the everyday driver? What laws?
School bus drivers have different rules to follow?
Well, they have bus rules. They have the same rules as bus drivers.
Yes, they do. Different licensing, different requirements. The one I can think of really, really quickly is they must come to a complete stop before going over a railway crossing, open the window to the left and the door to the right of them, have a look down the railway tracks, and then proceed when it's safe to do so. Where we in cars don't have to do that. What else do we need? Our vehicles don't need a speedometer, and every bus needs a speedometer. That's a weird one.
That is out there.
Yep. What else? School bus drivers.
Well, there's a whole bunch of things about how they use their lights.
Yep.
Like within certain distances of the intersection. And that starts getting into you can't be within a certain distance. This tickle in my throat's bothering me. Must be allergic to some of these comments I'm reading. Oh, excuse me.
They also have to have different equipment. So they must have a first aid kit, an axe, a few other things in their bus to be operating.
So I'm going to scroll back up. But this hopefully that answers your question. I don't know what else there would be. We have some school bus friends, school bus driver friends. Maybe we should chat with them to find out what they have to say on the topic. Okay. We've talked about this. We've talked about that. If you're watching and you're new to the channel, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I talk about, stuff and things every day. Joining me very often is Sergeant Murray Campbell, who's standing next to me. And if you don't already know about the website, ASKaTrafficCop.TrafficCop.ca, that takes you to my link tree. And on the link tree, I have all sorts of, it's a culmination, a collection of cool stuff that allows you to, I'm sharing it with you. Here we go. Why isn't it coming up on screen? There we go. So this is
the official NORAD Santa tracker.
Oh, I got to take that down. I said I was going to do that last week. Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff that, I guess we can still track Santa, but he's in one place. There's all sorts of useful information at the bottom, like checking your license status or checking your friend's license status before you lend them a vehicle, checking to make sure that the vehicle you want to buy isn't on the stolen list, how to get a license. What else can we tell you? Understanding demerit points, car seats, all sorts of stuff. Bicycle law, there's links to everything. And as I find more stuff that you can use that would benefit you, I add it there. So TrafficCop.ca. You can also get all of our other social media, like our Twitter and Facebook and Instagram accounts, where we post daily information as far as where the Vision Zero enforcement team is. So any kind of useful info. Okay, if there's a bus, this is Elmo B. Pimpin'. If there's a bus only lane on the right, do I have to make a right-hand turn from the center lane? So if it's a bus lane, so where would we have this example?
I'm trying to think of one that.
So Allen Road
has a bus lane on the right?
Dufferin has a diamond lane. It's a multi-use lane, so you can have it's bus and 3 passengers and I think motorcycle. In that situation, no, you would not make a right turn from the center lane. You would turn into that lane and make an appropriate turn into the driveway or intersection, but you would not continue past an intersection because then you're driving in the lane when you don't qualify and you'd be eligible for a charge. But you're saying bus only lane. It would be an unsafe turn to turn across that. I can't imagine.
Absolutely.
You'd be entitled to enter it for the purposes of making a safe turn.
And an awful lot of times, the bus only lane is only around bus stops.
Yeah, I try to envision one where it's truly like bus lanes generally like DVP left side.
Yep.
So obviously you're talking about where is the bus lane that you are talking about? Because I want to know. I want to look at it and I want to investigate. Get Me Famous wants to know, this is now the second question from Get Me Famous, so he's truly famous now. Why do cops feel entitled? I don't think we do. I just think we know stuff that other people don't necessarily know, and we hold them accountable, and it
Entitled
bothers
to
people.
do what?
I don't know. I'm trying to extrapolate from very short. He uses very few words. We just have to assume the rest. Yeah. Good morning. This is from Jordan. Oh. Good morning, Sean and Sergeant Campbell. I've been hearing commercials for the boat show. In one of them, I heard manufacturers made or making electric boats. I'm sure that's the case. I've not seen any. I'm not really a boating investigator.
No, there have been electric outboard motors around for a little while.
How are they doing?
In fact, for a long time, we've had electric fishing motors, trolling motors. That's not a great stretch to see that expand to higher horsepower, higher torque.
I would.
Is it possible? Sure.
I'd want to see backup, like generator / actual motor. I wouldn't want to get stuck in the middle of somewhere with an electric motor.
Well, getting stuck in the middle of somewhere without a
tow
gas,
yeah.
would be the same.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
somebody could bring you some gas.
They can
get you going again. They can't bring you some electricity.
Yeah, there's a lot of water and wires. That sounds like a bad idea to me.
Well, it's like the fully electric fire truck.
Okay.
Let's put an awful lot of water and spray it around everywhere in our fully electric fire truck.
Do we have a fire truck that's fully electric?
I don't think we do, but
somebody
it's out there.
has them.
Yes.
Let's see here. Good morning, police from Best Biba. And here's a serious question from a recruiting perspective, to which I don't have an answer. Can you become a police officer if you're on antidepressants? Now, you do have to see a doctor. You have to be cleared both from a psychological perspective and from a physical being able to meet the requirements of a police officer. But I don't know if it's completely not possible or if it's something that under certain circumstances. I'm assuming that's a good question for our friends at recruiting, who could refer you to someone with the actual factual information. I'm speculating based on what I know about the recruiting process. But it's a great segue to talk about employment because we haven't really done that. We usually I try and do this every single show, and I haven't. So let's talk about recruiting. If you'd like more information on becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, whether it be as a police officer, parking enforcement officer, special constable, or any number of civilian roles, go to www.tps.ca/careers because we have information there. It's this website that you'll find once you get there. And by clicking on any one of those headers, guess what? You have lots of information available to you. Everything you ever wanted to know about becoming a member of the police service. Now, as a police service applicant, applying to the role of police officer, you got this fancy dandy apply now button, which allows you to go and prepare your online application. But you should do a lot of reading about all the requirements here. Know everything there is to know before you put that application in, because there's going to be an assumption that you know stuff. And ask questions, and ask us questions, because we answer whatever we can answer. And then you see these fine photos of these fine officers. They actually work in recruiting. They have information for you there and can refer you to get the information. You know, so I'm referring you to them. They can refer you to somebody else, but they're the place to start the search. But good luck on your path to policing, if that's what you are interested in doing. Oh, and then I forgot to do what I wanted to do, which is go into, hang on, let's go back here for a second. Go into the...
what you normally do is...
What I normally do, which is go into the civilian roles, because I'm really curious what we're hiring for right now. So civilian roles, if you don't want to wear you don't necessarily want to be a police officer, putting yourself out there on the street to serve the community in that capacity. Well, we have magical people who do things behind the scenes. So advisor, indigenous engagement, that I think I saw last week. Yeah, it came out on the 2nd.
Yep.
Digital team developer, communications operator, and YIPPY, the Youth in Policing Initiative summer program, which is available to people in certain neighborhoods from within certain ages. Like, there's a bunch of qualifications, but if you are 15 to 18 and legally eligible to work in Canada, attending school, and never having been a part of the YIPPY program before, if that sounds like something, and you're a student and you want to be involved with that, check out the website. I think it's cool. We've hired, and some people have gone on to become police officers afterwards. It's cool stuff. Okay, back to...
You're back, but I'm not.
Okay, you got to go.
So it's 10:31. I'm a minute late.
For leaving.
I have a meeting coming up, so I I have to jump on that one, so I have to say goodbye to you guys.
Well, we will see you soon. Like probably in a half an hour when I'm off the air. And then we figure out if there's lunch happening. All right. And now the people on what is this magical website? Instagram. Yeah. Now you can see me again. It's not just Buddy behind me. Okay, let's get back into to stuff and things. Stand by as I check what kind of new stuff I have having shown up. I hate when I have to block people, but there's some people that were being silly before, and I have to block them. I'll block more people if I have to, but I don't want to. Guten Ciao from Hungary. I had flagged that to acknowledge. We are an international show. That's right. We have people from all over the world who write in, and they even though they don't drive here, they're just interested to know what we're talking about. Johnny Nguyen, says good morning, and good morning to Sergeant Murray. Of course, the message got there after he left, but I will forward it along. Good morning, happy past holidays and New Year from the Grinch. Thank you so much. Is Vision Zero allowed on the 401? Why, yes, it is. You know, so oddly, when Sergeant Campbell left, I didn't have no more coughs. Weird. Let's see here. Okay. So, sorry, to answer your question, Vision Zero can be anywhere. We can do enforcement. We don't focus on the 401, but if we're there, we'll absolutely do it. We are looking for people who are violating Ontario law. We are police officers who enforce Ontario law anywhere in the province, although we focus on the city of Toronto. Okay. Someone asking about... Yes, so I see Paul talking about OPP and 401, and this is about likely the comment which I scanned past earlier about enforcing someone driving the speed limit in the left lane. We do have different opinions on that. I'll come back to it in a second. I'm going to flag it. But essentially, can you do the speed limit in the left lane? I think that's what you were asking earlier. Somebody here. Can I be pulled over for driving the speed limit in the left so-called passing lane on the 401? So there is law that says slower traffic should stay to the right. Now, I don't think that applies to slower than illegal speeders, but in the interest of safety, even though the clowns that are speeding are breaking the law, it is safer to not make them make dangerous maneuvers around you to the right. So even though you're doing the right thing and they are doing the wrong thing, your right thing is putting them in a position to be dangerous. And for that reason, I believe it's that reason that the OPP decides to enforce that. In Toronto, I do not think you'll find yourself being charged for doing the speed limit in any lane. And certainly not for doing unnecessary slow driving, because you have to be doing you have to be engaged in unnecessarily slow driving, and that would have to be well below the posted speed limit. So yes, the OPP will charge you for things that the Toronto Police won't, because we have a difference of opinion. It was well said, Paul. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Let's see here. Cold Laker says, I'm losing my voice. Be respectful in this live. Apparently, if I go higher an octave up, I'm going to lose my voice, which is weird. Okay, I hit a traffic light at Yonge and Dundas last week. This is from my girl. You hit the light? That is suboptimal. Why? Why did you hit a light? Okay. Corlette wants to know why I don't go after Des Montrater to chicken. I'm sure this is just a typo. I don't go after anyone. I work in this office. I work in media relations, so I'm not involved in going after chickens. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So you're making, what is this? Police or pirates doing a shakedown. I love the people. I love the people that talk about police enforcing the laws as road pirates, taking money from hardworking people who are breaking the law. Don't break the law. The laws are there to be followed, not to be broken. It is not. This rules are made to be broken. Business is pure silliness. Okay, let me scroll back because I missed a whole bunch of people, and I want to actually respond to everyone. So I'm going back. Okay. Is it legal to squeeze by a car stopped at a red light to turn right when there's only one lane? If it involves driving off the roadway, it would be illegal. You cannot drive off a paved roadway. So if you're driving onto a unpaved shoulder, not legal. If you're squeezing by on a paved or unpaved shoulder for a vehicle that's waiting to go straight, not legal. They have to be in a situation where they're waiting to turn left. And then you shouldn't be squeezing by. These are all things that could result in not so wonderful happenings. And usually there's curbs to the right side. So I'm thinking you're on unpaved, and that, again, it would be illegal. But thank you for the question, Betty. Yeah, patience. That's all you need. A little bit of patience. 60 seconds. No more than, I don't think you'd have to wait longer. Why is it okay for the government to break the law? Government doesn't usually break the law. Usually there's laws that have exemptions for government. For instance, police can speed. It's not breaking the law. The law says we can speed. So we can't legally. We're not breaking anything. We talked about this. Good morning, police from Best Biba. I think we said acknowledged you already, but you know what? When you have a happy face, why not acknowledge you twice? How often does cops not show up for court dates for speeding? There's no way to predict this. It's based on either they're actually sick because they can't make it to court because they're at home in bed, but we can also testify remotely, so maybe they're well enough to get out of bed and get on camera. But it happens on occasion. Maybe we're on duty and court has been filed and we are stuck at a protest or something and we cannot leave. But it's rare as opposed to common. That should not be your defense plan. If you got a ticket and your whole goal is to hopefully avoid seeing the officer in court, you're going to roll the dice, you're wasting your time and everybody else's. It's just going to be put over to another date, and then you'll come back again hoping for and then it's games. If you're guilty, pay your ticket. Stop wasting taxpayer money. That's the real deal. You have a right to go to court, but it's just a waste of time if you are playing games. That's personal opinion. My personal opinion. Okay, I think we got Ivan before who wanted to know how we were doing. We're doing well, thanks for asking. Okay, Felix Cipher says, can you talk about improper use of high beams which result in loss of sight? I assume you mean not permanent, or you don't mean permanent loss of sight, but you're actually referring to the blinding of bright lights when someone high beams you. And yes, it's illegal to use high beams when you're 150 meters in front of another vehicle that's coming at you or behind another vehicle. I think it's 60 meters behind a vehicle. You can't have it. It's a fine under the HTA. Of course, then there's the people who just have misdirected regular beams. They're just pointed the wrong way and they're too high. Sometimes that happens when you overload the rear of a vehicle and it suddenly points to the sky. It's a problem. It's a problem. Do snow contractors driving tractors have to wear seatbelts? Tractors? Like farm tractors? Oh, you mean like backhoes and stuff? I don't know. Honestly, you stumped me. I've never done enforcement on a tractor before, so I don't know. I wonder. Now that's a curiosity. I bet you Sergeant Campbell would know. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk to him about it. Okay. Earlier we talked about pets not being in the right place. And Ryan Pinn says, it's painful to lose a pet. It's even more painful to have a pet removed from your abdomen. This is where the airbag goes off and they were sitting in your lap and Fluffy and you start to share DNA because you're part of, anyway, it's bad. Where can I send videos of people breaking the rules? You can make reports on the Toronto Police website, tps.ca. There's a way to make reports for driving complaints, whether it be a community or safety, community safety issue, where many vehicles are committing the same offense at an intersection, let's say, or one person who just happens to do something wrong. You can report either. Now, it may not be enough information that you give us to lay a charge. If you get me a license plate and a description of a vehicle, I can't lay a charge unless I can actually identify the driver. But we can make a report. And then when we pull that person over, oddly enough, the car and the plate match, maybe the activity matches, and then we can include that. You know, there have been multiple reports of this vehicle doing that thing, and then now we've caught them. It looks really bad for them in court. So it's a good way to build a case. Devin, you made this statement earlier. I doubt you're still here, but Devin said, my taxes are paying for this. I thank you for your contribution. Let's see here. Franklin Benjamin Jr. needs an explanation. Did I press the wrong button here? No. Needs an explanation about the red light camera on Brimley Road and Danforth Road. What kind of explanation? I I don't have an explanation for you. I don't know what your question about it is. Do you want to know why it exists? Who operates it? What do you want to know? I want to answer you, but I need to. What kind of explanation is there? First of all, I don't know that there is one there. We don't administer that program. It's City of Toronto who does that. If you'd like more information about that, Toronto.ca has the even the certifications of all the machines. Like, is it for red light camera separate? They have the certifications, I think, for all their speed cameras on their website. In any case, City of Toronto runs the program. Okay, hi, sir. If I drive with a G1, what happens? So as a G1 driver, you're required to be supervised by a fully licensed G-class driver who has 4 years of experience and is authorized to supervise you because they have the 4 years experience. That's acknowledged by the MTO. If you drive without that person there, or if the person has more than 0.05 blood alcohol content in their blood alcohol content, they're over the legal limit, well, then you're driving unsupervised or you're unaccompanied. So you get a $110 fine, you get a 30-day license suspension for your first time, a 90-day on your second time, third time you'd get kicked out of the licensing program. You're also not insured by your insurance company because, well, you're not a licensed driver, so they wouldn't cover you. I mean, if you stole the vehicle, they might cover the owner for damages, but then you'd be charged criminally. And the person who let you drive the car, they're eligible for a fine or a charge under the HT as well because they permitted someone to drive a motor vehicle in violation of a condition of their license. So your license says, while supervised, they gave you a car to let you drive it. You're not supervised. They're responsible partially too. Motovlogs. They want to know if they can drive their girlfriend's mom. Can I drive my girlfriend's mom's car without being on the insurance? If you don't live with them and you're licensed and they give you permission, then technically, yes. Now, as a police officer, if I pull you over, as long as the vehicle is insured, you have all the documents, and you're a licensed driver, we don't care. From the insurance company perspective, if you're, let's say, under the age of 25 and they have a stipulation on their policy that says no one under the age of 25 can operate, they may not cover you. That's a problem. If you take the vehicle without consent, they're likely not going to cover you either. But I'm blending G1 with this. If you live with the person, it's a problem. Most insurance companies want you to be listed as an occasional driver. Yes. We got Zulik, who says, mail is government, that's why it's federal. Makes sense. How do I get demerit points taken away if not listed in ticket? Angel Vargas Ortiz wants to know. So tickets there's two separate things here. We issue a ticket for a charge. That's an allegation that you committed an offense, and you take it to court or you pay it. When you process it and pay it, we notify, or the courts notify the Ministry of Transportation, who then adds points based on what the offense was, so they can determine how many, and that's the story. We don't do it. The courts don't do it. They notify the Ministry of Transportation who does it. Insurance companies don't care about points, but the ministry tracks your behavior behind the wheel to see if they have to take away your license. That's what points are for. They expire on their own after 2 years from the date of the offense. Oddly enough, if you wait 2 years to go to court, you'll never get points added, even if you are found guilty, because they will have expired. They disappear. Your record, however, that stays for 3 years from the date of conviction, whether you pay it or you lose in court. We already covered this one earlier on. Okay, taking this away. Some questions are funny. Many questions are funny, especially the ones where people are really, really angry. Dr. Rogan Josh says, never stop these streams other than to go to the bathroom and go home. But there is no plan to stop. We quite enjoy doing this, and I certainly quite enjoy doing this. Just a little background, because many of you are either new to the stream or have no idea who I am. I was injured in a motorcycle collision. I was a motor squad officer. I was riding back to the station. I was approaching a red light, and someone decided to pull out of a parking lot without paying attention, and they hit me. And as a result of those injuries, I found myself unable to go on the road, which really drives me crazy because I miss the road. I like being a police officer. But this gave me an opportunity to give back to the community in a meaningful way, and I've been running with it for a couple of years now. It's been fantastic. It doesn't always feel great, but because my back hurts. But it is it's cool that we're doing this, and we are the biggest channel. We just hit 644,000 followers overnight. I woke up to 644,000. So if you are following, or not following, I should say, please follow, like, subscribe, hit that screen until your fingers go numb. Do that thing. Allow yourself the ability to find us again. And tell your friends about us, because we're all about helping people. How old does a child have to be to legally sit in the front seat of a car? That's Bren Feg. And apologies for ignoring the folks on Instagram. It's not intentional, it's just that you're on a different screen. Sadly, the video feed comes off of one camera, but the chat does not. And Ryan, I see you there. But the answer is any seat in the vehicle is eligible for any aged person as long as they're in the appropriate car seat. So children who require car seats, we'd like to keep you in the back seat. But if you only had 2 front seats, that would not be illegal. We'd like to keep people under the age of 14 in the back seat because it's safer. Back seat is better. But it's not illegal to sit in the front seat. That being said, you do or may need to have additional equipment like a booster seat, depending on their age. So if you are 8 years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9" in height, any one of those 3 things make you legal to sit in a seat with a seatbelt not requiring a booster or car seat. That doesn't mean it's the safest thing. So, yeah, that's the thing. More information on that, TrafficCop.ca. Trevor says, in other words, yes, police don't use their own money for their equipment. But I don't know if Trevor was paying attention when I said I actually started the show with all of my own equipment. Now I have all of my own equipment at home, and I can stream from home or here. It's pretty cool. But I started with my own, and that was then stuff was purchased by the police service afterwards. Okay, going back to the all comments, looking for more questions. We do this Monday to Friday from 10 to 11. Sometimes we're with the radio stations, local stations. Sometimes we are connecting to podcasts. We have a podcast, by the way, and we replay these live streams as podcast format, so you can download it and listen to it while you drive legally and not burning up your data. I love the hate. Some people making references to an Ice Cube song about police because they love the police so much. No, I get you. I just think you're hilarious. The people who don't like police are funny. Okay. And I love the background where people are chirping at them for being rude. Cold Laker, I saw a comment from you earlier, but I appreciate the shout out. Good morning, officers. Love your greatest fan. Well, good morning to you too. And thanks for sticking up for us. Let's see here. I don't know what this person was. Okay, why do you go out? No, we talked about that. Talked about this. Can I fireworks in a boat at New Year's Eve? I don't know boat law. I don't know. I don't know if I want to set fire to things from a boat. I think that's a really bad idea. But, that's just me. Okay, we talked about this. Hang on a second. Okay, this is a good question. Can I turn left on a red if I'm turning onto a one-way from a one-way to another one-way? And in the province of Ontario, the answer is yes, assuming it's safe to do so. You've come to a complete stop, and there's no sign that is preventing the turn. 1422 says, is it illegal to do tax fraud? What do you think? Where do you sell impound stuff? So if we impound a vehicle, if it's not we don't sell it. The pounds sell it. They recover their costs. They have their own process. I'm not involved with that, or we're not involved with that. Let's see here. Mark Manone. Is it Manon? Manon? Trying to figure out how to pronounce your last name. But Mark, he wants to know, for neighborhood drivers that need some personal education, does TPS Traffic Act on dash cam caught event? So if you mean, we talked about this a little while ago. You can make reports, but it doesn't necessarily result in charges. Okay, we talked about this. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I'm allergic to my Ryan pin. Okay. Saif Siddiqui says, can a police officer help jump boost your car in case your battery has died down? Generally speaking, we don't do that. Generally speaking. Is it possible? It's possible, but generally speaking, we're not doing battery boost calls. We are an incredibly busy police service. We're the second largest police service in Canada. Yeah. Municipal anyway. Like there's we can't generally spare someone to go boost batteries as much as we'd love to help. It's just not something we can do. Now, our sergeants' vehicles have special systems set up that they can actually attach wires to the front of the vehicle to boost. At least they used to. I assume they're still in these vehicles, so you could boost the another police car. But generally speaking, I don't think that would be happening for the average, IOPC dude. But I have an Auto Club membership, and when I need a battery boost, I call them. And I bought myself one of those handy-dandy lithium-ion booster packs, which I can't believe have enough power to start a car. It's amazing. In fact, I got it for free. I went to an event. I was at Honda Indy, and there was a tire company giving them away. So I got a tire booster battery for free. It's a good deal. I like free. I'm happy to pay for things, but it was cool that they were giving them out to everybody. Can you comment about the video? Oh, so Evandro, you sent me a video with someone who I wish I downloaded that so I could share it. But somebody put up a video of an electro. What is it? It's a LCD, LED. No, it's LCD liquid crystal panel over the license plate. So when they hit a remote, it blacks out. Obviously illegal. I thought it was pretty interesting that they had a magnetic mounting system for their license plate. Yeah, I'd love to catch one of those. I mean, it's a cool idea, ingenuity at its best. Thinking about words. Let's see here. We got Ryan Pin, who says, I had a cop friend who would try and get all his court dates on the same day off, so he would just sit there all day and make overtime. Yep, that's not a bad plan. But now you could do it from home remotely. It's cool. Anyone can take you. What is this? Oh. I put up a video inviting Alan Richson, who is the chap who plays Reacher on Prime Video. And I invited him to come to the studio. I've not yet heard, but it would help if you go and tag him and ask him to come. We can use peer pressure. I'm sure he's a busy guy and probably has not read every comment or seen every video that he's tagged in. But I think it would be great. I'd love to talk about Reacher. I just watched the most recent episode of Reacher on Friday night because it comes out on Fridays. And that's my new Friday thing. I quite enjoy the show. And I'm also reading, or I can't say reading, I'm listening to the audiobook. And I've gone back, although I've seen season one, I'm listening to the very first Reacher book, because I've never read the Reacher books. I've just seen the movies and the series. And I'm now on chapter 8 of the original book, which I think it's called The Killing Floor. In any case, it's good. And having watched the first season of Reacher on Prime, it is interesting to now hear it described, and it's the unabridged version. It's the word for word from Audible. It's interesting to see how the author has painted the pictures and how it got transformed into a screenplay. Anyway, I like this stuff. So yeah, Alan, if you're watching, come, let's chat about Reacher and traffic. And you have a Ducati and you drive, I'm sure. And there's some great scenes of you driving big vehicles. I'm a big guy, so I understand what it's like to be in small vehicles. There's a scene in season 2 where they have to rent the vehicle, and he says, and she says, yeah, I know, SUV, you don't fit into anything. I'm like, that's my life. Yeah. Somebody commented on that video, said, will he actually fit in the studio? And it's like, he's smaller than me. He's like 6'3", I'm 6'5". See, I'm bigger than Reacher. All right, moving on. Happy New Year, all the best from Ian. Ian, thank you so much. We got if it's the same Ian that I think it is, Ian's a retired police officer living in Montreal. Who was it? Texas that you were a police officer? In any case, yeah, it is good to hear from you. Happy New Year. We talked about this. Paul is back to bringing us funs and oons. I still haven't done the full Google on that, but yeah, I love the word. All right. Air-cooled red facts says they hate us because they ain't us. Yes, I like that. For all those who dislike the police, it's probably because they got turned away when they applied. Maybe not these people. Ryan Pin says, from a Navy standpoint, fireworks would typically require the Bravo flag for your firing or discharging of explosives. Well, he's a military man, and I know nothing of the military or fireworks on boats, but I appreciate that. And as a Navy man, you're probably, well, civilian boats are probably different. You guys don't you have rockets on most ships anyway? I really don't know anything about the military other than the cool stuff I watch on YouTube. Okay. Can I drive on the highway with a G2? Yes. You can drive anywhere with a G2. You do have restrictions to have 0 blood alcohol content. You do have restrictions to have no more than one person under the age of 20 in the first 6 months, and no more than 3 people under the age of 20 in the second 6 months from the hours of midnight to 5 a.m. But otherwise, you're it. You can drive. What is this? Punishment for driving with expired license for 2 months. You have no license. You're not insured. You have no license. You'd get, it's a $310 or $350 fine, which is not that big, but you're not insured, and the not insured is a problem. You wouldn't be covered. Your car would be a write-off. It would be done. You'd be personally liable for things. Like, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. Go just renew it. That's what you do. Now, suspension is different. Suspension could land you in jail. Ooh. Ian says, any word on Law and Order Toronto criminal intent? I cannot wait. I put it in my calendar for when the first episode is. I think it's the 18th, I think. Well, I'm going to check. Because I want to watch it. Where is it? Come on. No. Come on. I could swear I put it in my calendar. Did I not put it in my calendar? Do I have memories of something that didn't happen? Law and Order Toronto. When's it coming out? I'm looking it up for you. February 22nd? I thought it was January. Oh, come on. Maybe that's why I'm looking the wrong month. That's why it's not showing up. In any case, okay, I'm disappointed. I want it now. Anyway, I'm very excited. I love watching these police shows, especially when they're Toronto based. I have a lot of fun with that. Gamer Baby says, get caught at a street race. I'm not picking up what you're putting down. You want to get caught at it? You want to know what happens if you get caught? What is your actual question? Let's see here. We had a police show filmed in Montreal called 1902 in English. 4 seasons. It was fantastic. Yes, it was. I don't think I watched all 4 seasons. I think I watched season 1 and 2. I thought it went away. The chap who played the lead went on. Didn't he go to Letterkenny? I thought he went to Letterkenny. In any case, I loved the show. It was fantastic. And Air Cooled Red Fact says, I loved Rookie Blue. So did I. And I loved, what was the other one? What was the SWAT one? There was a great SWAT one. Okay, it was a little bit corny, but it was great. I even liked the bridge one, which was interesting and darker. But I love any television show filmed in Toronto that I can identify. For instance, Reacher, filmed in Toronto. Loving finding all the Toronto locations. Go. Gamer Baby wants to know what happens when you get caught at a street race as someone participating in the street race. Stunt driving, criminal dangerous driving, lots of opportunities. Lots of opportunities to get charged. Coroner is a show, according to Air Cooled Red Facts. I've never heard of it, unless you mean there's a character. I don't know what you mean. And yes, he is on Letterkenny. Shorzy. Got it. Flashpoint. Ryan, thank you very much. Akela also saying Flashpoint. Canadian, our system is so different than American policing. So when it's actually, well, one of two things happens. Either they say they're in Canada and then they do stuff that's actually bonkers and has nothing to do with, like, for instance, Rookie Blue, fun to watch. They didn't even understand rank structure. It was so bad that way. The uniforms were bad. The police procedures were bad, but it was fun. So when they do it right, I really, really think it's cool. There was one that I was watching that was about a female detective. King, I think it was called King. It was really good. Air Cooled Red Fact says, coroner follows Dr. Jenny Cooper, a coroner who investigates suspicious, unnatural, and sudden deaths in Toronto. Fierce and quick-witted, Jenny is a single mother with secrets of her own to unearth. That is quite the description. I will have to check that out. And Ryan Pinn says, coroner is a good one. The main character is also the other major on Reacher. Get out. I know exactly who you're talking about. Very cool. Yes, we should have the whole cast over here from Reacher, and we can have coffee and hot cocoa and smiles and talk about it. All right. I think I have spent all the time I can today here. We'll be back. I'm going to have a Halls with Mentholyptus and soothe, maybe or tea. Maybe I'll make some tea. But yes, I want to make sure my voice still works tomorrow. I'll download this episode. I'll post it as a podcast replay, so you can catch it later today if you want to wander around and listen to it while you drive, because it was so gripping. But thank you very much for spending time with us. This is the song that's filmed, recorded. Yeah, it's the police officer singing who wrote it, and I recorded it for them.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get freed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
I don't think I'll ever get tired of that song. I quite enjoy it. Quote of the day: 90% of the game is half mental. You do the math on that. And the dad joke from Akila Draconis is, what is the best bait for catching rainbow trout? Skittles. Fish the rainbow, catch the rainbow. I don't know if I like it or not. But the quote I like. In any case, Air Cold Red Fact says, much love, sir. Wish you a good week. Thank you, and to you as well. Stay safe, and remember, don't have a good day, have a great day. That is from Akela. And I'll check out that FAA video. Listen, have a great day. Drive safe, park legally, drive sober, and smile, because it looks good on you.